what's up? Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. How you guys doing on this, what day are we at? I don't even know what day. Like Tuesday, I think? Or maybe Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Sorry. This Wednesday afternoon. Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. Because I have a little bit of a different setup than I normally do. So just want to make sure that you guys can still hear me. So if anybody can let me know, that would be great. Hello, you guys hearing me or what? If you guys can let me know if the audio is working or not, I'd appreciate that. I just pretty much go live um, whenever works best for me, personally. How's your Wednesday going for you guys? If you guys are even able to hear me, because nobody's let me know if the audio is working or not. Ah, okay. Hope you enjoyed your trip. Okay, cool. Yeah, just hopping on for a few minutes. You know, figured I'd come by, say hi. If you guys want to say anything, I know there might be only a few people in here at a time, but that's okay. Um, oh, very cool. Very nice. I've never been out of the United States before, so, all those old architectural buildings and, whatever. I mean, we obviously have some here, but the real, cool ones are internationally, in my opinion. Um, Damn. It's like, you know, kind of a nightmare. Yeah, I wouldn't do too well with places with no windows for sure. It's like being in a it's like being in a fucking psych ward or something. Uh, the only place I remember sleeping at and being at frequently that there were like very tiny windows, whatever, but like in the main room there was no windows, whatever. That was my old uncle's house that who unfortunately he passed away last year, and literally in 2 days from now was 1 year since I saw him last when he was still alive. He had a cancer, you know, and then he died on the 10th of July. So the 1 year anniversary for all of that is coming up. But back at his house, when I was a kid, I would go there, frequently because it was my mother's second oldest brother. And he had, a daughter who was only 6 months older than me. And he had three other kids as well, which are my cousins, whatever. So I'd go there, whatever. And they had a really cool basement that had like, carpet and furniture. It wasn't like one of those dingy kind of basements. There was like a separate room as well, which was obviously like kind of a playroom when we were all like little kids. Had a bunch of stuff in there. Um, and unfortunately, he got sick with pancreatic cancer, and then he ended up passing away last year in July. So that's coming up very soon. But the main room down there didn't have any windows. There was one small window in his office because he had an office down in the basement. He had a room office down there. There were three kind of different areas down in the basement, and then there was a small window, whatever. in the like playroom area when we were kids, whatever. But it wasn't like a window that you could look at and see what was out inside. I don't even know why there was a window there to begin with, because you could only see the bottom of the front porch. Like you couldn't see out. Weird, but yeah. So that's that. Anyways, I don't know. Seeing that made me think of that. Um, oof, sorry to hear that, man. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because last year when that all happened, I was at Drake's concert like less than 2 weeks after that. After losing him. So yeah, it was kind of crazy. Yes, I do have some scripts, but they're not official scripts from the show. They're just scripts that were given to me by Dan Schneider. But I have the Bet and I have Pool Shark, which were reprinted copies, so they're not original copies. And I had Drake sign them last year in Boston. No, no fan made stuff, but Dan Schneider sent me some reprinted scripts from the show. Um, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It was totally random. It wasn't even like I never talked to Dan himself, but it was through a third party on Instagram that um, contacted me because they knew how big of a fan of the show I was, and they're actually real life friends with Dan and work with Dan and whatever. So then it got all kind of set up, and yeah, that was all stuff that was sent to me for free. I got a handwritten note from Dan. I got two reprinted scripts from the show, which are still cool nonetheless, even though they're not originals, and then an actual season wrap party jacket. Um, Very, very cool stuff. And it's obviously cool because, we got to show Drake and, I filmed him, looking at the scripts, whatever. And, well, he looked at the Bet script primarily, which obviously is understandable. It's one of the more iconic, episodes in the one that he remembers a lot, obviously. Um, yeah. Favorite prop from the show? That's tough. Um, this might be a kind of an odd answer, but I would have to probably say the red couch. People will say the game spear or, maybe even Drake's bed, but you know, uh yeah. Oh, I don't even know. I mean, probably, I'm gonna say over 100, like maybe around 150. I mean, there were so many people, which was unfortunate. There were so many people who my messages got to them because I saw that they saw my message, but they just never replied back to me. And it was very unfortunate because some were cool. I only had a few that were kind of assholes, whatever. But a lot of them primarily saw my message, and I guess it just didn't really appease to them, so they skipped right over it. I also had broken promise video responses as well from multiple actors who said that they would be a part of it, but then never ended up doing it, which that was incredibly frustrating. One of them, I can't even hardly watch the episode anymore because when I see the specific actor, I think about all the conversations we had and that he was supposed to be part of it, and he just kind of, backed out without ever saying anything. And then another one, we were set up with this one. I was set up with this one actor, whatever, and then he, you know, basically ghosted me for a few months, and then out of the randomly he sends me a picture of him at dinner. Like from what I remember, it was a random picture of him at dinner. And then that kind of gave me the opportunity to be like, hey, it's been a few months. We kind of had this thing set up, are we still doing this or not? And And then I asked on top of that, why are you sending me this picture? Like I'm, whatever. And then he immediately, this was somebody who was following me back on Instagram, and then he immediately blocked me. Like what an ass. It wasn't someone who was majorly important to the show at all. It was someone who had very, very short screen time, but it was just very odd that he ghosted me. Whatever, we were cool, cordial. We were setting things up. He was going to be part of the series, and then all of a sudden, he sends me a random picture of him at dinner. Like, I think it was like a random selfie picture at dinner. Like he had like his tongue out. I don't know if he was like mocking me or trying to like be a bully or whatever, but it was completely random. So I like was kind of like, respectfully trying to get across like what the hell is this, to this actor, because it didn't make any sense, because he had ghosted me for months to begin with. And then, I tried to like steer the ship back to what we originally were talking about, and it didn't really work out too well. He blocked me, and then, it moved on from there. This was not a significant. Yes, I primarily used Instagram before they changed their request feature around, but this was someone who was on screen for a very, very short time on one episode. Maybe seconds to a minute, I'm gonna say. So yeah. Anyways, no, I've never talked to Josh. I only have his two of his books autographed. Um, Honestly, I wish I could be able to be like, hey guys, like here's the actor, like here's who it was, or here's the season where this happened at. But even though this guy like doesn't deserve me to protect his identity, I will. So I won't say what season or what character he was, but just know that it was a very insignificant, you know, uh, character who was on screen for a very, very short time. So not someone very important at all. Um, if I meet Josh, I will have him sign the best of seasons 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 Amazon DVDs. But if I had to pick only one, it would be the best seasons 3 and 4 DVD. But obviously, I would hope to get him sign multiple things. But who knows if I'll ever get to meet him or not. But let's just say that in less. Well, I'm not going to even get into that, anyways. Yeah, Josh Sussman's actually a personal friend of mine. Um, he is very, accessible, and he's very, very cool to the fans. We're actually real life friends. So he's definitely one of the nicer actors I've ever, probably the nicest actor I've ever met from the show, and then the nicest actress I've met from the show. And we're not really friends necessarily, but we keep cordial, whatever. And that's Nancy Sullivan, who played the mother on the show. No, I have not talked to Josh Server. That would be cool though. But obviously he was one I tried to reach out to, and never heard back from him. As a matter of fact, let me double check something while I'm at it. Just want to see if this option is still open for a certain thing. Since you bring up that name, and since I remember something, let me just see about something quickly. Okay, actually it is. Awesome. All right. Well, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but thanks for bringing up that name. I will look into something important in the future. Anyways, I will also say that I have an unboxing coming later. Oh shit, I missed that. Oh motherfucker. Sorry, I'm realizing now that I missed something um, that I wanted to grab. Let's see, is it still up? No, damn it. Okay. All right. Anyways, sorry about that, guys. I just how like you're within like maybe an hour of something or 2 hours of something, and you know uh, you're wanting to whatever, but you just missed something, and it's kind of one of those situations. That's just kind of how it was for me. Anyways, um, I appreciate that you would want to talk to Nancy and whatever, but and you seem like I see you constantly here on my lives and everything, um, but I don't really talk or do favors for people unless I know them in real life. So I'm gonna respectfully decline that, but I do appreciate you, um, you know, because I know you have good intentions, but I just only keep it to people that I actually know in real life, which I don't really ask for favors anyways to begin with, even with people in real life. So I'm gonna respectfully decline that. Um, yeah, um, I would imagine maybe he did. I know Drake kept a bunch of shirts that he wore, especially in the final season. I don't know if he had anything else for the show that he kept, but I know that he's got um, a bunch of shirts. Like he has the dance contest shirt. He has the really big shrimp red shirt. He has the obviously the treehouse shirt. Um, he got to keep those. So that was pretty cool. Favorite three episodes. Well, I know two of them right off the bat, which is one of them is going to be the pilot because that was the beginning of everything. Even though Drake and Josh obviously had their run on the Amanda show, I'm counting just for their show specifically. You gotta throw the pilot in there. Obviously, Foam Finger being my favorite episode. Um, oof. And then after that, I would have to say probably Really Big Shrimp. Uh, you know, Obviously if we're counting, uh, episodes and not TV movies, whatever, then you remove Really Big Shrimp. Maybe the next one after that would have to be maybe the Demonator because that's one of my favorites. I'm not sure if the only thing I know that Josh has, which is not something that came from like an onset proper screen worn whatever, but I know that Josh has a Drake and Josh gym bag that he still actually uses once in a while. You know, that's the only thing I know for sure that Josh has from the show. I don't know if he has anything else. Oh, okay. I mean, people if people don't want to give it up, that's their right. It is what it is. Yeah, the episodes thing has been wonky for many many years, which the last that I knew, Pluto TV pretty much had everything except for one season two episode and the Christmas movie. But I've talked about before how there's kind of issues with their presentation of that on Childhood DVD Fan. Yeah, but I mean, I personally got everything that I would personally need. Um, what's out there. I pretty much got everything that I would need. It is what it is. People are gonna be who they are. It is what it is. Yeah, I liked her character. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Honestly, I don't really like to get involved with I like to keep things very basic. I don't like to go on these things like Discord or Reddit or whatever. I stay away, or even Twitter. I stay away from those places because they give me nothing but a fucking headache. You know, um, I don't even like Snapchat, honestly. I used to kind of like it, not really anymore. The only websites I like or things I like to go on is pretty much Instagram, YouTube, eBay. I like to scroll through eBay. Mercari, I like to scroll through that. Poshmark, maybe Amazon, uh, you know, stuff like that. Anyways, guys, I'm just going to take a quick break. I'm going to be back in like maybe a minute or two. I'm just going to do something very quickly and then I'll be right back. So keep there for a second, okay? All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. So I'm going to probably hang around till maybe the half an hour mark. I'm not going over the half an hour mark for sure. Um, Definitely not happening. Um, but, you know, might hang for a few more minutes. Um, yeah. So, I know that one of my friends, quite frankly, didn't really want me to, or haven't gotten really the confirmation to be able to show off these items because there was a lot more than just this. But I've already shown off a few of these things here and there. One of them specifically, um, so I might as well just show them off, get it over with. You know, the autograph parts, whatever. But as far as a whole collective thing, I still haven't gotten to that quite yet. But screw it. I will show these off to end the live. We have this vinyl here. I believe it's a vinyl here. I kind of have it on this package here. I have a little thing covering it. The signed Drake Bell and gold Sharpie here for the Ready, Steady, Go. So that is one thing here that I was sent for free. The other one, which is another one, although I have to be a little bit careful because there's a note right under it. So I'm going to be careful with this. Is this right here, which is another signed Drake thing. It's like a vinyl, or sorry, a CD here. So we got that. I'm being very careful and kind of closer in because there's a note literally right under it that has my information on it. So that is the second thing. And then the final autograph that I got for free. It's kind of wrapped this puppy up. And I want to be careful with this, is this right here, which is a signed copy here of Drake Bell's It's Only Time album, which I already have like multiple of these signed. So, yeah. Hopefully, I didn't give away any of my info or anything like that. But I just said, screw it, why not? Show it off, get it out of the way. Because I've already shown off one other thing, whatever. You know, but it is what it is, you know. Because technically, once it's in my possession, I'm allowed to show what I want to show. It's just more of doing a favor or whatever for a certain person. But we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Fake ID. So you're talking about so steered straight. That's definitely one of the better ones. Definitely one of the better ones. And I think I said this before. I'll say it again. Whatever. I have a unboxing coming in the mail, but I will not be filming a video for that for Childhood DVD Fan because there's certain things that you just get in the mail that you're not really allowed to put on YouTube, or you shouldn't put on YouTube, and that's one of those today. So I look forward to getting that. It's a non Drake and Josh or non Drake Bell or non anything in that universe related thing. But I'm getting 2 CDs today, but I'm not able to post those videos or ever talk about them to Childhood DVD Fan or anywhere because, well, there's a reason why. But look forward to getting those later today in the mail. But yeah, we're gonna finish off about the half an hour mark. If you guys have any final things you want to say or whatever, I know there's only been a few people in here. Yeah. No, I have not met Trevor, and I never will meet the actor Trevor, who is played by Taron Killam. That's never going to happen because of Taron being one of the 41 letters against Drake, but that's not a discussion for, here. You know, I will never go out of my way to ever try to meet or interact with any of those people. Unfortunately, I had experience with the worst letter of the 41 letters, which I'm not gonna say her name, but you guys probably know the name, and that was before I knew that she was the best friend of the monster. But that's my worst YouTube career mistake. I had no idea until the letters were unsealed. But anyways, I'm not going to get into all that. I've already talked about all of this before. So we're going to just leave it at that. One of my good friends in here. What's up, man? You always join late. You always join late. Because I said that I'm going at the half an hour mark, and I'm going to stick to that. So, yeah. Yes. That is who I'm talking about. But I want to make it very clear. Once again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When I got in contact with her and when she was part of the video response series, the letters were still sealed. So I had no idea that she was a fucking monster, that she associated with the monster. So when I found out is when all of you found out, when we were watching Quiet on Set. That was, why does it say that nobody's in here when people are clearly in here? YouTube being weird. But anyways, once all that happened, I almost, fainted the night that Quiet on Set came out just from that alone because I knew that I had contact with her, but she was such an evil fucking bitch that, she agreed to do her video knowing that, she wrote the worst letter against Drake like almost 20 years prior to that point and was best friends with the monsters. So yeah, unbelievable how fucking just insane some people are. But anyways, I don't really know what you mean by the El Camino. All right, final question for now. Yes, I did do. Well, it's not anything special, but I did put up a birthday story for Drake, and he saw it, which was very, very cool. And also, I added. Well, I'm not going to really give away that information, but I'll talk to you privately about the second one. You I believe added to it as well, but I'm not going to talk about it here on YouTube. But I put up a birthday story for Drake, and I didn't even have to tag him or anything, and he saw it, and that was very cool. So anyways, guys, thank you for tuning into this live. I will be putting out a new video relatively very shortly on Childhood DVD Fan about an unboxing. Not the unboxing I mentioned I'm getting today, but a one that I had unboxed like 2 days ago or so. And it'll be cool because it'll have a cool YouTube connection to another person, but it'll all make sense if you guys check out that video. So anyways, guys, this has been Drake and Josh Superfan, And this has been Childhood DVD Fan. Have a good day, guys. So long, everyone.